are allowed to think big and dream big. How to generate different systems. Systems that provide stability and are nested within the harmony of nature. I'm excited to explore with you the intriguing bandwidth of information our researchers and friends have surfaced. Let's dive into our next topic to find out how we can actively shape a future worth pursuing and living for.
Welcome to this episode. My name is Moana, and I will talk about a topic with huge potential and knowledge when it comes to the question how to generate different systems. I will give you an introduction into anarchism. Throughout history, anarchy has been unifying those seeking a life of freedom and a more just and communal society. The symbol of an A in a circle associated with anarchism has various interpretations. Most popularly, the symbol stands for an A and an O, representing the idea anarchy is order without domination. This concept goes back to the philosopher Proudhon and has become a widely recognized slogan for anarchists. The term anarchy originates from the Greek word anarchia, meaning leaderlessness or non-domination, and refers to a state without oppression. At the same time, anarchy doesn't mean the absence of hierarchies. Some forms of hierarchy, such as between different holders of knowledge, are natural and can be fruitful. But hierarchy becomes problematic when misused for the sake of control over others. Therefore, an anarchist practice puts the focus on social relations and involves both criticizing and overcoming all forms of domination while constructing alternative systems based on equality and self-governance. Anarchism emerged in the 19th century in response to the social question and the struggles of the working class. Since then, anarchism has been a driving force behind revolutions and social progress. Its origins can be traced back to thinkers like Proudhon, who became famous by questioning the concept of property, arguing that it is a form of theft. It is important to differentiate between property, possession, and ownership. While it is, for example, a valid need to own a flat or a bike, and personal belongings should only be taken with asking for consensus, the problem arises if possession is misused for the sake of capitalization. Anarchism is diverse and encompasses different dimensions. It can be a political philosophy, a political practice, and a way of life. Within the philosophical discourse, the fundamental question arises about the concept of domination and freedom. Some anarchists assume that domination means oppression of the individual and that the task of an anarchist society is to free the individual from society. Others hold the opposite view, seeing domination as hindering genuine community and association, which is why an anarchist society represents a liberation of the individual toward a society based on freedom. According to those different philosophical assumptions, the political orientation is divided into the individual anarchist, libertarian, liberal current on the one hand, and the collectivist, mutualist, communist current on the other hand. Common to all currents within anarchism is the rejection of the state, capital, and religion as forms of domination and paternalism over the political expression, the economy, and the mind. Anarchism explores themes and motives such as freedom, the role of the state, capitalism, gender relations, post-colonialism and racism, ecology, and forms of organization and transformative action. In history, there are numerous examples of successful instances where people live according to anarchist ideals. One notable example is the Paris Commune in 1871, where for 73 days all power was in the hands of the people. Food was distributed to the poor, medical care was provided for all, the arts were freely accessible, women were given the right to vote, and the church was separated from the state. Other examples are mass movements like the Flora in Argentina, in Chile, or the Zapatistas in Mexico, which have hundreds of thousands of followers at the turn of the 20th century. The Zapatistas, or anarchist structures in Venezuela, as well as the kibbutz in Israel, still exist today, and thousands of people live together in syndicates and self-managed communal networks. Another example is Spain's history, where resistance to fascism in the 1930s is an organized anarchism. In the autonomous areas of the Spanish Republic, money is abolished and people live together based on need. Fields are farmed collectively. The police is expelled. Decisions are made in councils. Cultural institutions are managed by the artists and technicians. Fabrics are managed by the workers themselves. These examples demonstrate the feasibility of a society based on anarchist principles, when supported by a significant portion of the population. Anarchism has faced resistance from the ruling class since its emergence 150 years ago. The persecution and execution of anarchists took place under fascism and under Stalinism. However, it is primarily the reactionary forces and the owning classes of the existing nation-states and democracies that have structurally abused the media to create a negative image of anarchists and to initiate fear. These reactionary forces were involved in the repression of worker strikes, the Paris Commune, and the Spanish Republic by brutal means. Even today, in the movement for climate justice, the state defames anarchist activists, put them in pre-trial detention, or imposes disproportionate fines and imprisonment in order to protect the existing order and, as Proudhon named it, the interests of property and capital. At the same time, the anarchist ideals live on. Anarchist practice is based on the principle of direct action. When mass protests in the 1880s, initiated by anarchists on May 1st in Chicago, demanded the 8-hour workday, the general strike emerged and established at the International Day of the Labor Movement. Other forms of direct practice include boycott, occupation, and sabotage, when French anarchists threw their wooden shoes, the sabots, into the machines. Anarcho-syndicalism is proposed as a proven alternative to parliamentary democracy, rejecting the concept of elections and adopting a different approach to policies. In this form of organization, the legitimacy of the existing order is not seen in the exercise of the right to vote. Instead, it promotes direct political participation through the establishment of councils, and the changing representatives are appointed temporarily. The most important principle is voluntariness. People voluntarily join together politically in communities and economically in cooperatives, which then form a federation. These federations are internally organized democratically and are oriented toward a socialist mode of production. The means of production are managed collectively, and production is based on social needs rather than competition. Moreover, individuals have the freedom to live and create new communities whenever they desire. Overall, anarcho-syndicalism emphasizes decentralized decision-making, voluntary cooperation, and a focus on fulfilling societal needs. Anarcho-syndicalism is a belief system based on the concept of social freedom that emphasizes the idea that individuals can only find their true freedom and self-realization within society. Important anarchist thinkers leading the way were Proudhon, Kropotkin, Bakunin, Mühsam, and Emma Goldman. In recent years, anarchism has seen a resurgence, with influential thinkers like Judith Butler and Agamben adopting its principles. Within anarchist struggles, it has always been women and members of the LGBTQA+ community who have taken on central roles. Queer anarchist collectives often consider themselves as permanent groups, engaging in solidary care practices, and challenge dominant power structures with counter-hegemonic liabilities. Their focus lies on liberation from social labels and the pursuit of a fulfilling life. Anarchist beliefs share the motive that only a wild, resistant life allows for the experience of fulfillment, joyfulness, and self-realization. After this theoretical overview, the next episode will get you more practical insights, what anarchism means in daily life. Thank you a lot for listening, and enjoy the interview following, taken on the 150-year International Anarchist Gathering.